I was born and raised in the shacks of Joe Slovo, in a township called Kwalanga, a few kilometers outside CapeTown, where fires would erupt every month. We slept with our minds and our ears alert of the signal. Umlilo! 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 Which means fire in isiXhosa. We eventually found ways to save ourselves and the little assets that we owned from the deadly fires of Joe Slovo. Imagine having to set your furniture in a way that makes it easier to pick up as you run for your life. The number of times that fires erupted exceeded my measure of remembrance. And there was a time when a fire erupted in the middle of the night, and we all woke up and laughed, as that was the third occurrence for the month. We laughed because the pain was too much to bear, and the only way we could express this was through laughter. The fires weren't even the hardest thing, because crime was our daily portion. My mother would pray every day as I went to school that I would come back safely into her arms. The sound of gunshots was my lullaby, and an empty stomach was my bedtime story. Nothing could ever tantamount to the amount of fear that I experienced as I slept, hoping that tomorrow would be a better day. I would walk a kilometer to relieve myself. I would walk another kilometer to find water. I would watch my neighbors greet each other with eyes begging for survival and hearts longing for a slice of bread, for water to drink, and for a better life. In the shack, I lived with 3 strong women, one of which being the woman who gave birth to me. She gave birth to me when she was young. She had nothing to her name, no substance to her existence, and no possession of value. And she used to say that I was the only valuable thing that she had, and that I was her hope for change. And those words uttered to me when I was 5 years old stuck with me ever since. From that moment, I made a choice to be the change. From that moment, I started dreaming. I dreamt, and I dreamt, and I dreamt. I dreamt of finding hope in my hopeless situation. I don't know how or why, but there was a burning desire inside of me that reminded me that there was hope at the end of my tunnel. Hope to fulfill all of my ambitions, and the only way I could do this was to dream. The idea of dreaming was a fantasy. It was unrealistic. It was not in the local vocabulary of my community. Because in Joe Slovo, there was no hope. The only way to survive was to breathe. Mothers would cry for mercy every night as they would loan sugar and bread just to feed their kids. And during all this difficulty, I remembered my dream for a better life. And this dream reminded me that this shall not last forever. My dreaming then began to manifest as it started directing my choices. And as that occurred, I was bullied in primary school. I was bullied because I had a dream for a better life. I was bullied because I refused to succumb to what was the norm. When my peers would talk about boys and alcohol and drugs, I would divert conversations to dialogue about creating a prosperous future that will take our families out of poverty and suffering. And for sparking those conversations, I was labeled as weird. I was rejected. I was laughed at for being the short, lonely girl who is weird. Every day as I went home, I would fall into the shoulders of my mother, crying. As every day would be a distinct form of bullying as it escalated. It worsened every year as my passion for my dream ignited more fire inside me. I was not only bullied by society and my peers, but I was rejected by my father. He left my mother and I when I was young, and he rejected me. He never called on my birthdays, never visited me, never even paid child support. And for a while, I had thought that I was not meant to be loved because I didn't know what a father's love was. But my mother reminded me that I didn't need all I thought was necessary to travel on this journey of finding my purpose. She said that I needed to focus my time and energy on the narrow path, which is towards finding and fulfilling my reason for existence. It was during this time where I got to spend a great deal of time on my own. Instead of sitting with friends, I would sit alone and write down all my ambitions, hopes, and dreams. And it was during this time where I discovered so much about myself. It was during that time that I discovered that I am talented and smart. It was during this time where I decided on working on building my confidence. It was during this time where I got to find out about myself, what I like, what I don't like, my strengths, my weaknesses, my talents and gifts, and everything that makes me who I am. I became comfortable with the fact that the bullying and suffering was my obstacle that I had to overcome. That I had to break through all the negativity and force out the positivity out of those negative situations. I say that those were the best years of my life. Because it was during then when I discovered that I had the potential to change my circumstance, to change my community, and to change the world. I say that those were the best years of my life because it was during this time where I discovered that I could do anything that I put my mind to. I stand here with so much strength, and I am wiser. I am the product of my dreams. I am the product of my mother's prayers. I am a survivor of poverty, suffering, rejection, and difficulty. I am the first person in my family to attend the University of Cape Town. I am a successful entrepreneur. I am a public speaker, a dancer, an actor, an MC, and a theater and performance student. Yes, it took time for my mother to fully understand my dreams of becoming an artist. But she saw my consistency, my perseverance, my hard work, my determination, and my unwillingness to change my mind about my dream. Because I was the only one who knew what my dream was. Therefore, I couldn't allow anyone to deter that from me. You are the one who knows what your dream is. No one else but you. Therefore, never allow any circumstance, anyone, or anything to take it away from you. I stand here with so much strength, and I ask you to find strength in your journey. I could have let my dream burn in the fires of Joe Slovo, but I let that fire inspire me, motivate me. May you find strength in your dream, and may you find hope in your fires. Thank you.